2016-2017 Moto Guzzi Eldorado. I remember watching news clips on TV in the early to mid-1970s for events taking place in California. The news had plenty to talk about with the Vietnam War and the protests resulting from it, and other events whose historical impact escapes me right at this moment. What sticks in my mind was my fascination with the motorcycles the police were riding. Used by the Los Angeles Police and the California Highway Patrol, the California model, dubbed the Eldorado here, stamped its name on the American motorcycling world and made us sit up and pay attention to Italian manufacturer Moto Guzzi. Playing to the sport crowd in the mid-1970s meant death for the Eldorado 850. The iconic tourer was dumped for the sportier 850T, but Moto Guzzi was already entrenched. In fact, if you have one of those 1972 to 1974 Eldorado 850s, you have a goldmine. Thanks to Piaggio's willingness to let its brand stay true to themselves, the 2017 Eldorado carries the classy lines and the bold elegance of the Eldorado of yesteryear. Continue reading for my review of the Moto Guzzi Eldorado. While you don't get the siren and flashing lights of the old LAPD bikes, the 2017 Eldorado is still as beautiful a machine as it was when it hit the California coast 40 years ago. Similar to its stablemate, the Otis, the Eldorado is the heavyweight touring cruiser, where the Otis is more the muscle cruiser. With bullhorn handlebars instead of drag bars, floorboards instead of pegs, those gangster white walls on spoked wheels, classic fenders and plenty of chrome, the Eldorado is the all-day tourer with a comfortable triangle and a don't-trap-your-boot shifter. The oversized saddle is built for comfort, and with a seat height at 29.1 inches, it's an easy reach to the ground for anyone of average height. At 700 pounds before you get on it, the Eldorado is a heavy bike and could be a handful for folks smaller of stature with not as much strength. You'll wrestle it in the parking lot, but once on the road, it's smooth sailing. Replaceable nylon sliders under the floorboards give you a little insurance on aggressive cornering, and it handles the curves like a champ. Of course, if you like aggressive cornering, you might do better with the Otis. AMG starts out with a tubular steel frame that forms a double cradle to support the distinctive transverse mount V-twin on rubber motor mounts. Massive 46mm, right side up front forks float the front on 4.7 inches of travel, and dual, externally mounted rear shocks support the swing arm with the same travel as the front. Plus, the shocks come with swanky, black on chrome shock covers, a nice classic touch that pairs well with the chrome knee patches on the black tank, the polished aluminum fork lowers, and black tube shrouds, giving us a continuity of design that kind of brings the whole bike together. At 700 pounds, wet plus riders and cargo, this is a lot of bike to control. To that end, the factory gave it big, dual 320mm front brake discs and Brembo calipers with 4-post pistons each. A 282mm disc and dual pot, piston and anvil Brembo caliper bind the rear. ABS comes standard to help you deal with the massive forces generated both by the weight of the bike, but also the front calipers. Post piston calipers are no joke, and you better be tender with the lever until you get used to them. Metzeler Lasertec tires wrap the 16-inch polished aluminum rims, and the fat gangster white walls certainly add to the classic looks. There is no mistaking a Guzzi for any other ride. The transverse mount, 90-degree, V-twin engine stands proud of the rest of the bike, leaving it with the distinctive shoulders that gives it away in a heartbeat. At 1,380cc, the mill falls in the upper middle range for cruisers in the stateside market, as do the performance values with 96 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 88.5 pound-feet of grunt at a low 2,750 RPM. That's right, folks, this engine comes on early. Dual ignition heads contribute to that, as does the Weber Morelli fuel injection system. A ride-by-wire throttle runs through the Moto Guzzi traction control (MGTC) system, a combination that allows for 3 separate engine maps to manage power delivery and 3 adjustable traction control profiles. Plus, cruise control serves as the icing on the proverbial cake for long-distance riders. A 6-speed transmission comes with an overdrive ratio top gear, another bonus for highway riders, and the MG reactive shaft drive sends the power to the rear wheel. Where the Otis is the muscle cruiser, Eldorado is the touring cruiser. When I think touring cruiser, the V-Star 1300 Tourer from Yamaha's Star lineup comes to mind. Never mind that a touring cruiser should have bags and a windshield, the Eldorado doesn't, but with some quick-release components and a trip to the accessories catalog, we can have whatever we want. Engine size is fairly comparable, with the Guzzi barely squeaking out a win with its 1,380cc displacement over the V-Star's 1,304cc. Granted, the V-Star conforms to the US mold with a traditionally mounted V-twin mill, but Guzzi has long been popular in the US, so its distinctive design does not detract from it one bit. Star takes a hit in the electronics department. No ABS, traction control, engine maps, cruise control or anything, so MG takes the cake in the fancy gadget category, hands down. Even though the V-Star can be head for $12,390, a sight lower than the Eldorado at $16,490, the gadgetry that comes standard with the MG explains away that price discrepancy. Even though Eldorado buyers will have to go out of pocket for bags and a windshield, padding the price even more, it should be well worth the extra money for someone looking to do some serious highway work.